Hey guys, Melinda Haynes, license number 102308. I want to do a little talk today for people who are having to go to court-ordered supervised visitation. Now, court-ordered supervised visitation is usually prescribed, I guess, or ordered in cases where there's been either an amount of time since you've seen your kids, and this could be due to prison time, military time even, separation due to other reasons. Maybe you were busy doing other stuff for a while and you weren't in your child's life. Or it could be due to some sort of allegations of abuse, domestic violence, any kind. There's a bunch of different risk factors. It's common these days for alcohol and drug abuse cases to get supervised visitation because the judge wants to make sure that you're not using actively while you're around your children. I've seen a lot of cases where the parent who was using at the time was with their child and maybe something happened, like they passed out, they were not responsive, the child had to call 911, for example. Different stuff like that had happened. And so those parents then end up with supervised visitation. Now, I am a supervised visitation provider. I've been doing it for a lot of years with both like CSD or DHS, CPS, however you want to call it in your state, and then also with just custody cases between parents. So maybe the state hasn't stepped in, but the parents are having an issue or a conflict with the custody situation. Now, what you want to look for is you want to find a provider who has been trained, first of all, especially if you're in California. California is a pretty regulated state when it comes to this profession. So if you're finding somebody to do supervised visitation services for you, make sure they're trained by Standard 5.20. Now, in other states, they're still kind of starting to do regulation in those states. It's kind of a new thing where they're like, okay, this is an issue and we need to really monitor this profession, regulate the profession. They need to be trained. They need to be trained in some sort of child development, parent-child interaction. They need to know about drug and alcohol abuse. They need to know about domestic violence. They have to have some sort of knowledge so that they're working within a capacity where they are trained and they're qualified. Okay, now you also want to look for, do they have an agreement? Do they have guidelines to help you have a good visit? Do they prepare you? Like, hey, these are some of the ways that you can have a really great visit with your child. Do they have a place, a location with toys and games and, where it's safe? Or do they let you go out into the community? Are you going to be able to take your child to the park, for example? Do they have safety boundaries around where you can go and what you can do? Are they respectful to you? Do they treat you like you're some nasty criminal that, they're just going to sit here and wait for you to do something wrong and document it and run back and tell the court? Or are they looking for a positive experience? Are they going to help you have a good visit with your kid and kind of facilitate, not only a good visit, but good, good overall interaction, between the family members? They don't want to be in the middle, like causing more conflict. Okay, another thing you need to realize going in is that supervised visitation isn't confidential. Okay, it's not like therapy. The stuff that goes on with supervised visitation is reportable. So not only are they mandated reporters, but they've got to report to the other parent, to the attorneys involved. Sometimes they got to send the information directly to the court. Sometimes these people, the monitors, get called in to testify. Okay, so while they are on your side, they're not really on your side. They're kind of the neutral person. They're on the kid's side, basically. You just want to make sure the child, has a safe visit, the child is getting to interact with their parent. And they need to know that, even if you are a parent who's messed up, maybe you've made some bad choices and you're trying to get back on track, that provider that you work with needs to have the attitude that, kids love their parents. Kids want to have their parents in their life, and it's a good thing if we mess up and we try to make it right. So you want to find a person who is willing to have that attitude, and they're not already like pigeonholing you as the bad guy or the bad girl. Another thing we have to look for is that in some states, well, in California, I don't know about some other states, but I know for sure in California, therapeutic visitation is not allowed right now as of 2019, and I think it's been, gosh, years since California changed the law. In some states, therapeutic visitation is allowed. So basically, you're kind of doing like this therapy and visitation at the same time. In California, it's not. It's just neutral third party watching you and documenting what happens. They don't give an opinion. They don't do judgments. They don't do any of that. They just say, this is what happened. Okay, so when you are looking for a supervised visitation provider after you've been court ordered, interview people. Okay, find out like who do I need to work with? Who feels like they're professional, they're friendly, they're respectful, and they're also using safety measures. You know, they're making sure the kids stay safe. You want to make sure that the parents do not interact with one another. Okay, so they're not going to have you guys just all show up at the same time. They're going to stagger the visits, all that kind of stuff. Now, that is part of their training. So when they take a training class or classes to be a supervised visitation monitor, they're going to learn all of this stuff. Okay, so do your research. Don't panic. Okay, this actually can be a good thing for you. When you go to supervised visitation, what's happening is now you have a document of, do you show up to all your visits? Do you show up on time? Do you say appropriate things? Do you interact with your child appropriately? Do you bring toys and maybe some snacks or a meal for your children? When you interact with them, are you keeping the conversations appropriate? Meaning like you're not, oh, you know, how's mom? How's her new boyfriend? Or how's dad doing? Did he get that new job that he wanted? You're not doing all of those things. You know, you're not using the kids as messengers. You're not using the kids to gather information and so forth. So if you're following these guidelines, you're following these boundaries, you have a document from a neutral third party who is saying, hey, this is how these visits are going. So then eventually the judge is going to see that for a long enough time and say, okay, let's move to unsupervised. Hopefully. I mean, I can't give you legal advice, obviously, and I can't predict every case, but that's the good part that can come out of it. So if you are facing supervised visitation, don't necessarily freak out. It could be, you know, a good thing over the long run. Okay. And in the meantime, in the short time, the good thing is that you get to visit with your kids and your kids get to visit with you. So if you have any questions about it, post your comments below. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching.